Drova for a second kin. For many in Europe, this should already be enough to convince them to buy this. For to be uninitiated, here are some things that I absolutely love about the game, which basically no modern game has gotten right since Gothic. Much like in Gothic, you are a newcomer to somewhat contained a setting where a rogue society with different factions has developed. You are not the chosen hero, but an absolute nobody and need to impress people to make any progress. Many people will take advantage of you, trick you, extort you, or just generally be mean to you. It's a tough place to be and you have to work your way up on it. The world feels immersive and believable because NPC act like actual human beings. They follow realistic schedules with the different activities during the day and the night. They get pissed if you intrude in their living spaces or throw a weapon in front of them. They react to things you have done with a different dialogue, sometimes even if it didn't involve them, and they just heard about it. Even animals act realistically. Instead of just attacking you on sight, they make threatening noises trying to scare you off. You can even pet friendly animals and they have different personalities, so you might have to go about it in a little differently with some. Quest design is great because you never just go from NPC to NPC. The tasks make sense in the context of the world and you can almost always solve them in a variety of ways. Someone may ask you to screw someone else over. You can do it, you can refuse, and you can tell the other person about it, but you might be able to find a completely different solution because you talked to the right person or found something with the right information. Some tasks may land you in the water with someone else. You can find them, you can talk to them out of beating you up, bribe them, and you can even just take the L and get beaten up. Yes, getting beaten up by someone you owe money, for example, to is not the game over. You didn't just die and have to load your save. You just get knocked down, they take the money you owe, and some extra for the trouble of course, and leave you to recover because that just makes sense. It's a raw society and a broad primitive one. A brawl due to disagreement is one thing, but murder is a different story. All of these cool quest choices are tracked in a journal where the character writes down what happened. There are no quest makers telling you where to go. You need to ask NPCs for directions and check your journal. The map is not the some minimap HUD overlay but an actual in-game item of painted map which you need to acquire. The progression feels so rewarding and makes so much sense. As I said above, you start out weak and slowly work your way up. You don't just level up and get stronger, you have to find people who can teach you certain skills. Some of them may be friendly and just teach you, some of them may be do it after you complete some tasks for them, some may ask for money, and some may only teach you if you are a member of their faction. Just like in Gothic, armor in particular is hard to come by, whereas you can just buy weapons from merchants. Armor is usually given out of major milestones like becoming a member of some faction and finally getting it feel like a great reward. There's a lot more to be said about the things in the game gets right, like the atmosphere with people sitting around campfires, environmental sounds and the music all being very reminiscent of Gothic. Enemies just don't respawn outside of major story progression, respawns in new chapters, or so I've heard in still in chapter 1, just like in Gothic, which is great for balancing character progression. Even the overlay and sound effect while progressing to a new chapter are very similar. I may have mentioned Gothic a few too many times in this review. You may be wondering if Drova is just completely derivative of Gothic. To some extent it is as I described above, but that's a good thing. Light SP of the bird director from soft games, in particular Bloodborne and Sekiro. Some people may think too much so, but that's why it's good in my opinion. No other Souls-like comes even close. Why change the formula so much that you lose the essence of what made you copy in the first place? The same applies here. Drova copies the right things to add enough elements to be its own thing. You may also be wondering if Gothic is so good whenever you should really be playing that? Well, yes, you absolutely should. It's amazing, but it's also a somewhat junky 3D game from 2001 made by now a sadly defunct studio. So, while you're here watching this, why not to play this modern game first and support a young studio? So guys, thanks for watching this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit a like button. I'll see you in the next reviews.